Seeley, the Morris militia's ranking officer, was charged by Washington with observing and informing on troop movements, collecting intel, and if necessary the defense of Elizabeth under General Greene's command. January of 1780, while on task in Elizabeth, ordered by General Washington to observe and obstruct any British machinations to invade New Jersey. This skirmish found Colonel Seeley and some of his men captured. The British captured 50 defenders, 47 soldiers, and militia, 3 officers, including Colonel Sylvanus Seeley of Morris County. I will read you some correspondence between Colonel Seeley and the commander of Continental Forces, General Washington. In this letter, Seeley relays intelligence on suspected British troop movements from New York to Philadelphia. To George Washington from Colonel Sylvanus Seeley, March 20th, 1778, from Colonel Sylvanus Seeley, Headquarters, Elizabethtown, New Jersey, March 20th, 1778. I have received information of the embarkation of troops from New York and have taken various methods to find out their numbers and destination. There is 4 regiments of them, 2 of Hessians and 2 of British, and their numbers, as near as I can find out, are 2,300. I am informed they take on board 90 days' provision, and the common report is that they are destined for Philadelphia. They began to embark about the 16th instant. I cannot learn that they have taken any flat boats on board, as yet, although they have been preparing them for some time past. But as they will be the last article put on board, perhaps they may take them in at sailing. I am, sir, your most obedient humble servant, Colonel Sylvanus Seeley, Commandant, Elizabethtown. From Colonel Sylvanus Seeley, Elizabethtown, NJ, November 4th, 1779. Sir, by a new hand, I have received the following particulars from the enemy. That General Lashley sailed yesterday in a frigate of 30 guns, her name unknown. That 10,000 tons of shipping had been taken up in New York for transporting troops to Halifax, as is reported. Colonel Buskirk's regiment to remove from Paulus Hook to Staten Island, but what regiment they are to be relieved by unknown. As the above accounts comes by a new hand, I dare not give full credit to them, but thought best to send them on, not knowing. But your Excellency might have some other accounts that would corroborate with those. I hope soon to have a more particular account, and shall lose no time in sending it on, until when I am your most obedient humble servant, Colonel Sylvanus Seeley, Commander State Regiment. To George Washington from Colonel Sylvanus Seeley, Elizabethtown, New Jersey, November 11th, 1779. Sir, by accounts just received, I have the following particulars. 5,000 of the British and Hessians to be stationed on Staten Island, the latter building huts. Near the watering place, 2 fortifications are to be built, one on the heights near Deckart's Ferry, and one on the west end of the island. 4 brigades are on a march to Southampton, where it is said they are to winter. Morris's Corps Cathcart's Legion and Robertson's are stationed at Jericho on Long Island. Great part of the troops that came from Rhode Island have fell down to the watering place the 7th instant, and are bound to Halifax under convoy of the Delaware frigate. The Hessians that came from Rhode Island have relieved the Hessian Grenadiers on Staten Island, who have embarked and lie with those that fell down the 7th. There is a large number more expected to embark, shortly said to be going for the southward. The above accounts may be depended on, as they came from an old correspondent. I have the honor to subscribe myself, your Excellency's most obedient humble servant, Colonel Sylvanus Seeley. To George Washington from Colonel Sylvanus Seeley, August 10th, 1780, Morristown, New Jersey. Sir, yours of the 6th I have received, and Major Groenendyk has returned to this post agreeable to orders. Enclosed is a return of the men at this post, which is greatly short of the number intended. I have done everything in my power to expedite their collecting, but they come in slow, which makes me think I shall have but little, if any, more than half the number ordered. I cannot help mentioning that we have very little ammunition, should be glad to know where to apply, in case we should be ordered to any post where we may likely want. I am, sir, your excellency's most obedient servant, Sylvanus Seeley Cole. To George Washington from Sylvanus Seeley, Morristown, July 30th, 1781. Sir, I received yours of the 27th this morning, and am sorry to find your excellency has been misinformed in regard to the militia going home, for what men have been collected are here still. I should have wrote before this, but I was informed by Colonel Dayton that it was your excellency's orders that as soon as I had 300 men collected, I was either to march on with them, or send them on under proper officers to join the Jersey Brigade. And as I have not been able to get but about half that number, therefore thought it not necessary. I have used every method in my power to have the men collected, but all has hitherto proved ineffectual. Enclosed you have a return of those already collected. I shall march them on agreeable to direction. I am your excellency's most obedient humble servant, Colonel Sylvanus Seeley. To George Washington from Sylvanus Seeley, August 10th, 1781. Sir, I wrote you on the 29th of last, in which was enclosed a return of the number of men I had at that time. I began my march on the 2nd instant, and on the 7th I arrived at this place, agreeable to your excellency's direction. I ordered the remainder of the men to rendezvous at Morristown, and left a captain with orders that as soon as 30 or 40 men arrived to send them on under the care of an officer, and to continue at that post until further orders. On my march, I received orders from His Excellency Governor Livingston to order 4 companies of the state regiment to join me, and in order to facilitate their march, I sent Major Crane to march them on, and expect they will join me in a few days. I have enclosed your excellency a short return of the officers and men that have already joined, including the major and captain on command. I have also made a report to Colonel Dayton. I have the honor to be, with greatest respect, your excellency's most obedient humble servant, Sylvanus Seeley. To George Washington from Sylvanus Seeley, August 21st, 1781, Dobbs Ferry. Sir, I received your excellency's favor of this day, and shall wait your further orders. As to the orders I received from Colonel Dayton, they were to continue on this ground until the morning of the 22nd, and then to follow his route to Springfield, in consequence of which he left me but 4 days' flour and 3 days' beef, which expires the 22nd and 23rd. I have therefore sent my QM to King's Ferry to draw for 6 days, and should be able to draw, we shall be in a bad situation. There is no movement with the British since Colonel Dayton left this that are discoverable. I have the honor to be your excellency's most obedient servant, Sylvanus Seeley, N.B. Since righting 2 gunboats and a barge of the enemy came up nearly opposite this ferry, and after reconnoitering, returned down about a mile and came to, and there remains.
A man who says that flower. A man who says that flower is the flower. Is that flower.